Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. And Creepy is still sick and can't talk right, and I have not been able to get the voice work in to do any of the reviews, to get them finished editing and uploaded, and yay. So instead this week we're going to be looking at the first part of the rather long travel vlog that I had for, going around Japan. I did record more than just the reviews. I intended to do more overall, but things happened, which you will see. So, without further ado, here is Dr. Shado and that long-haired creepy guy in Japan.
Hey everyone, Dr. Shado here for the amazing beginning of the travel vlog thing. I'm really tired because I had taken Dramamine with drowsiness in it because I did motion sick and it's not going well, but yeah, I'm trying, and I got the sun in my eyes, so that's not gonna, it's gonna mean I can't sleep. But at the same time, this is an amazing super high-tech facility we have right here at the Greyhound station. This is the only Greyhound station in town. And in fact, the larger city over, this is considered their Greyhound station, even though actually I didn't have to go all the way to get to it. So that's kind of good. It's a little more convenient for me. But yeah, we got a great kind of place here. We got that lovely, grease dumpster back there for them to recycle the grease. We got a freeway for freedom. We got payphones, still have payphones. But more important than any of that is the fact that, yes, I am traveling with that long-haired creepy guy. Yo. So, yay! The traveling has pretty well started. Well, for me. I mean, yeah, you went and actually had quite a bit of traveling yourself, but that doesn't count, because I wasn't there.
It counts, it's just, you're not important enough.
You heard it here first. And here we are in the wee hours of the morning in beautiful Beijing.
The sun is slowly rising up over the horizon.
This airport is frickin' humongous, like many, but it seems to all be encompassed in a single dome, which makes it like a dome covering a little mini city inside. And
also, if you haven't noticed, kind of deserted.
Yeah, there's there's a huge airport, like 5 people walking around the whole thing. But
There are 2 of them.
We got these universal ports, yay! Except you're not allowed to, I don't think anyone can read this because it's so dark, but devices with a rating above 450 watts are forbidden.
Which means no laptop.
Which means no laptop. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a while and we don't have all that much to do thanks to the forbidden nature of that laptop trying to inefficiently use China's energy. Forbidden. Wait a minute, cameras are forbidden too, aren't they?
Only while you're coming through.
Well, I know, I mean, I don't see any security personnel around here, but if they do come by and I'm using this camera, what's gonna happen?
Cut.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can see this quite yet, but there was some hail that just came down on us.
You were just walking along?
You just spilled my coffee on my foot.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. That's my coffee, and that's my foot wet.
No, that's tea.
Oh, okay, that makes it so much better. Thank you very much. Yeah, the amazing adventures of Gamerathon 3, which actually technically hasn't started filming yet because this has been one hell of a trip. We haven't even had the chance to really pull the camera out much. And yeah, like I was saying just a second ago, you know what, we should just say screw the storyline idea thing we were trying to see if we could pull off, maybe, because what's actually happening to us in here is far more entertaining than anything we could come up with. So, I think right now I'll leave it at that while we figure out if we can get by during the less rain, and we'll continue this elsewhere. And we join you live from beautiful Osaka, Japan.
Or Osaka... What was it called again?
Shin-osaka. Shin-osaka. Not Osaka. Yes, Shin-osaka.
Which
is part of Osaka.
Okay, so we're in Osaka, but we're not in Osaka. We're in Shin-osaka, which is in Osaka.
Yes.
Right, now, the thing is, there's a lot to catch up on this travel vlog. Because, wow, we had an interesting time.
Oh, yes. Do you want to start us off, Decker?
In Houston? I was going to have a ride to get to the airport, but didn't. So after getting off the Greyhound, the airport was about 18 miles away. So
Which costs about $60.
cost $60 to get a cab to go there, so that was already eating into the budget. You're like, that's not good.
Oh, and don't forget the buses. The buses themselves. The one that was supposed to take us to Houston.
Yeah, we sit there at the bus stop, wait for the bus to arrive on time. Of course it doesn't, and then half hour later,
yeah,
one arrives finally, says Houston, and the guy says, "Sorry, I'm full. You have to wait for the next one." And of course, me and Creepy, we're part of you.
Yeah.
So I was like, when it comes, I figured that, but when? And
really helpful guy that one was.
eventually they got around to saying, like 15 minutes. Half hour later, it shows
Actually,
up.
I think it was more like an hour.
Something like that. Well, it didn't help that the guy who drove that one got off and left and didn't come back for another 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we're standing there looking like assholes. Like, what are we doing? Are we even going to make it to the airport in time? And then we finally get on the bus and get to Houston, which at that point, it didn't feel too long, because we spent less time taking the bus to Houston than we did waiting for it.
Yes.
So
There was that. Then we get to the airport, and things seem to be going fairly well. We find a place to plug in the laptop. We even managed to get some scripting done and whatnot.
yeah, I still had a bit to do.
Yeah. And we even managed to find out which gate we needed to get our tickets from and what time it was going to be opening. And all of that went pretty well. We got through the check-in. We got to our gate. All of that worked out pretty well. We got on the plane, and well, we were.
And wouldn't you look at that? The battery just died.
Yeah. So where was I?
It was at the getting on the plane.
Yeah, getting on the plane. Things after a while, things seemed to be going smoothly. And then we got to Beijing, where there was a 12-hour layover.
Beijing.
Yes.
And also that we had to walk, I don't know how many miles before we even got to the security checkpoint.
I know.
It felt like it could have been 2 miles.
We needed to take a plane to our other plane.
It was so huge, the Beijing Airport.
It was this dome basically enclosing a small city designed to look like a shopping mall.
Which was impressive in and of itself, but at the same time, it's like I'd like to actually get to where my plane is taking off, and I don't understand why there is so much space between these planes. They're not that big.
Oh, and then there was the fact that the gate number was somehow classified information up until like just a couple of hours before liftoff.
We were waiting for it. The thing wasn't even showing up on the boards originally because it was so long. We went up to the information booth and they were like, well, we can't tell you because it's not listed. And then it finally appeared on the boards, but it didn't have the gate number. Mm-hmm. And we kept going back and back and back and back until it was, 3 or 2 hours before leaving?
Yeah.
It finally said, over there.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, and it was a 57.
Yes.
And we were walking past like 24, and you'd walk and walk and walk, and it seriously was 500 to 800 feet before
You hit
you
25.
hit 25.
Uh-huh.
And then just as long to 26. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're at 57. Are we even going to be able to walk there in time?
Uh-huh.
And fortunately, around 30, there was a stairway down that led to 57 to 59.
Right.
But that was a interesting situation there.
That was a hell of a walk.
And
Meanwhile, there are people behind us blowing on those little airport golf cart things, just honking their horn, making people get the fuck out of the way, and we're like,
well, maybe they had the right idea. That's how to get all the way down to 57.
yeah. And then we sat there. We watched a movie while we waited. We sat there for another 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were in the air for another 5 hours before we landed in Tokyo. We landed in Tokyo a little after 9.
Tokyo.
I said Tokyo, didn't I?
Yeah, you
Nagoya.
said.
Nagoya.
What are you talking about? I haven't even been to Tokyo yet.
Oh.
We landed in Nagoya,
Nagoya, yeah.
which we landed a little after 9. And then we didn't get through customs till like 10:30, 11.
Yeah. It took us about 2 hours to get through customs between,
It wasn't that they were inefficient about handling, the paperwork and this and that. They were very quick about it. It's just there were so damn many people.
I feel like the process itself in the Nagoya airport was better than when I was in Tokyo. It seemed to take less time, but the process itself took less time, but it took more time to get through it because there were so many people.
Yeah.
The process itself was a lot better, though. But even with that in mind...
But by the time we got through customs and into Nagoya, we ran into a serious problem right away.
Yes, we
We
did.
went to the information booth to find out what the hell was going on, and they were closed.
Yes.
And so we were trying to find where to go, what to do.
There's a big truck. Hi, big truck. Goodbye, big truck.
Your presence was welcome.
Now leave.
We're trying to figure out where to go, what to do.
Oh, and the money exchange booth was closed down, too.
yeah, the money exchange booth.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we found that ATM.
They had an
We would've-
ATM, so we could get some yen, but
Yeah, but we would have been screwed otherwise.
there was a money exchange booth that was just... There was no one there.
Yeah,
And so I still have my euros on me.
yeah. Oh, and don't forget there was the incident where we went up to the... we were going to find out where we could get our rail passes. And
Yeah, with the information...
the railways that were available were not the company
Yeah,
that...
the railways available at the airport were not the company that covered our rail pass. And they said, well, you have to get down to Nagoya Station, which, it's like, okay, it's on this railway, and it's going to cost us, what was it?
about 10 bucks.
1,700 yen
Yeah.
for both of us to get down there. And it's
Right.
like, well, that was an unknown expense ahead of time, but that's doable. We can do that. And we had the taxi before. That was an unknown expense. Doable. Let's just do this. Let's get this efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
And we get down to Nagoya.
Yeah.
And the everything
Everything was shut down.
was
in the station.
shut down.
Yeah.
Our
I think we didn't get down to Nagoya. It was like 11:30.
And we go outside the station looking for anything like a hotel. No one's open. No one's accepting walk-ins. Nothing.
Nothing.
And there's nowhere to go. There are places marked 24 hour, and I have no idea why, because they were closed.
Yes. Everything was closed.
It is not like Nagoya's this tiny little city with nothing going on. It's huge, major metropolis kind of thing. Giant fucking spiraling buildings in the middle of the place. And I'm trying to figure out, why does so many things close? Isn't anything open at this time?
Yeah. So it's after midnight by this point. We have no place to stay. We still have our luggage, but we have to carry that around with us. And basically what we end up doing
And we
is...
find out also that it's a hell of a lot colder in Japan than it was in Texas. Also, should have anticipated, but it was still jarring enough.
Yes, because there was a wind. It wasn't just that the temperature had dropped prior to us arriving. It was that there was a
It's
windstorm.
Windy and humid, so it kept accumulating dew on our skin and then, blowing on that and getting us even colder.
Yes. So we spent...
Which is why my hair is all frizzed out, because it just got dewed and blown and dewed blown and blown dudes and stuff.
There's been blowing dudes.
Uh,
But yes, we ended up...
and we got we finally we had to stay awake all night,
Yeah.
waiting until
5 hours of nothing but walking, so
it wasn't
we stayed awake.
until 5 a.m. that the station opened again, and then it wasn't until 9 before the information booth opened.
Yeah.
And we finally got our rail passes sorted out, and then we went up to them because
Really?
allegedly before you could actually get some hotel reservations there so that you could go and deal with this. And
Yeah, they don't do that anymore, apparently.
they were just like, oh, you need a hotel, go out there and find one. Like,
Oh, and then you have... Oh, and
we tried that, they wouldn't let us in.
you also had the... don't forget about the... you see, we found out that on top of everything
Oh yeah,
else...
one problem was a lot of the hotels a lot more expensive than I had researched, which was driving me bonkers because I'm like, no, I had this budget figured out. We need a hotel this cheap and food this cheap to stay this long. And then there's like, no, it's going to be like 4 times that. Like, I could understand a little bit more than anticipated, but 4 fucking times? How does that happen? Because a truck.
The truck.
Not only the truck, but a festival.
Apparently, I did some peeking while we were in line getting our rail passes. Apparently, the week that we arrived in Nagoya is the week that there's an official holiday here in Japan.
I hope I'm not shaking the camera too much. It is still a bit cold, and I know my hands are shivering.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently we scheduled this while there was a festival going on, which of course means everything is going to be more expensive now.
But we can do this.
At that point, I think.
I was breaking down.
Yeah, Decker was
like, no, goddamn, no. Everything we've worked for.
Decker was literally
crumbling.
Decker was literally melting before my eyes. So I finally decided, okay, somebody has to take charge here. So after we got our rail passes, I just said, screw finding a hotel here, screw this city. We have had nothing but problems since we got here. So it's just like, we are getting on board the next train out of Nagoya, and we are picking another place, and we are going to start fresh from there. And actually, Decker picked Osaka. He wasn't wild about going to Tokyo yet because he wasn't...
I was thinking the problems we had in Nagoya would probably be quantified in Tokyo.
Yeah. But we did go to...
We weren't actually supposed to go to Tokyo until like the last week.
Yeah.
Which would mean that it would probably be after the festival, which would be fine then.
Yeah.
We could still go. But right now I'm like, I'd like to avoid that.
Yeah, so we went to... Decker picked Osaka.
Yeah.
And after a couple of mishaps on the platform...
Well, we do like, okay, go to this train. Okay, they already closed. Okay, this one. Oh, these are reserved seats. Reserved. Oh, this non-reserved is down there. Try and get down there. It's already gone.
And then we find out the next one that we were trying to get on was...
not covered by
our rail passes. The company was not covered by that.
So we had to figure out which ones were covered and which ones weren't.
I think by our 4th train, we found one that would take us. Yeah. And we were like, hooray! And the seats were actually pretty comfortable. The minute we got settled in,
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
There were supposed to be 2 stops between Nagoya and Osaka.
Yeah.
But all I remember was I sat down, and then next thing I knew, I was lying there with my mouth wide open, my everything dry, and like, and you were getting me up to get off the train because we're in Shin-osaka.
Yeah, he slept through the whole thing. I enjoyed a very pleasant train ride because he was asleep the whole time.
But we're here, and it suddenly hailed.
Yes, there was hail after we arrived.
It's like, I understand, it's cold. It's been raining a bit today, which I don't particularly want to be out in.
And yet now the sun is shiny and warm, and it's actually heating up a bit.
But we also got a hotel finally.
Yes.
Again, a little over...
more expensive than we planned.
But considering we didn't get one last night...
And considering the problems we've had up until this point, just having a place to sleep feels like a victory. It's ironic, since we've come to Osaka, we've had far better luck with everything than...
But still, I'm hoping to get Gamerathon 3 official filming started.
Yeah, the voice of dread, everyone.
I just want to get this. This is what I have strived for, what everyone has strived for a year. And we got one part done. I'm in Japan. Now we got to make sure that I don't die here, and I produce movie reviews.
He certainly has his priorities in order, everyone.
Could I die making movie reviews, and will someone upload them for me?
Well, one of the twins might, if they can tear themselves away from their gate long enough.
Well, that'll never happen. That's not very good.